in Matthew 28, verse 18. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and earth. Now look at what he says to his people. Verse 19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations. So number one, keep this in mind. Remember in Exodus chapter 19, what did God, Jehovah, say to the nation of Israel? Ye shall be a kingdom of priests, right? And then Peter elaborates. He talks about a royal priesthood. And one of the functions of the priesthood is to what? To educate. To literally teach. Hence the warning in Psalms, you better be instructed. When those Jews are literally fulfilling this commission, they're going to travel into foreign lands. Now you know why they have to have the gift of tongues, don't you? Well, there's not going to be one language, not until... But when the priesthood are sent to go to Australia, now I'm not saying whatever nations are there, I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying. However they're going to be transported, they have the gift of tongues because God is teaching the nations about who He is and what He's doing and what He's seeking to do. Okay? But they're out there teaching the nations, number one, and baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost. Right? So now they also have a cleansing ministry to and among the Gentiles. Verse 20. Look at the curriculum. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And isn't it silly how believers actually think they're fulfilling this commission today? Well, look at verse 20. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. Sell all that ye have and give alms to the poor. And anybody who says, yeah, I believe all that, well, let me see your bank statement because you don't believe all that Jesus Christ commanded. Not a suggestion. Well, and they did it in Acts, didn't they? Acts chapter 3, Acts 4. They did sell everything and they shared in common. You see, Jesus Christ is talking about everything that He commanded. If thy right eye offend thee, what are you supposed to do? If thy right hand offend thee, what do? Sell it all. You see, people, again, some, they're good people. They, quote, mean well. They're, quote, sincere, but they're sincerely wrong. That is not our curriculum today. What is our curriculum today? It's called grace. Grace teaches us that, denying worldliness and ungodliness, we should live what? Righteously and soberly. You see that? Grace is our curriculum today. This millennial commission has been replaced by the Pauline commission, which is the curriculum of grace. And you know why we have to identify grace as our curriculum? I'm blabbing, but we're going to end here. Go to Romans chapter 6. This is so critically important because the law can't change you in the inside. Now think about this. Here Jesus Christ issues forth the law. Thy word is going to be magnified. Isaiah says that the law will be honored. There are going to be some nations that say, teach us the law. And the priesthood, they're going to teach the law. And yet the law can't change the inside because there will still be those who are going to resist. They're going to rebel. The law can only affect change in the outward. You can't stop sin any more than a law that says thou shalt not break the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit has stopped people from breaking the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. What does the law do? Shakes us up and reveals who we really are. We're sinners. Grace, however, Romans chapter 6, verse 14, for sin shall not have dominion over you. Why not, Paul? For ye are not under the law. Well, what's the converse? You want sin to have dominion over you? Then what are you supposed to be operating under? The law. Wait a minute, how can that be? Because the law can only affect the outward man. It can pressure and challenge your outward flesh. It can tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, but it can't change your spiritual DNA. You know what grace does? Grace changes us in the inside so that we now are given the spiritual capacity not to sin. You can throw all the laws you want against a Christian, and it won't change them inside. But God says, I'll change you in the inside. And that's what grace is always seeking to achieve, to transform us from the inside out. The life of Christ, Christ in you. It's the new man. It's the inner man that's being renewed day by day. The law is a system that is out there dictating the flesh, provoking and challenging and always telling us, you can't do it, can you? You can't do it. You can't do it. But in Jesus Christ, Paul says, I can do how much? All things. Having all sufficiency. Paul says, I triumph in life. I am more than a conqueror in life. Paul, he speaks like a champion. Not because he was able to achieve the righteousness which is of the law. He speaks like a champion because of the King and the victor and the true champion of the universe, Jesus Christ, occupying his soul and his thinking. And you see, that's where the victory over sin is. You can't stop it, but Jesus Christ has defeated it. And it really all boils down to one simple principle. Let go. Stop trying. When you are weak, then are you strong. That the power of Christ may rest upon me.